So book drama over the last few weeks has been dominated by two authors, Cait Corrain and Lauren M. Davis. Cait Corrain set up a bunch of fake Goodreads accounts in order to one-star bomb the people she saw as competitors, including people who worked at her own publishing house. Lauren M. Davis has declared that she has copyrighted the idea of someone having control over the sun, and started threatening another author with a lawsuit over copyright over something that she definitely hasn't copyrighted and isn't copyrightable. Now, these are both stories about people doing incredibly stupid things, motivated almost entirely by insecurity. Insecurity that then snowballed into petty, spiteful acts at the expense of other authors. Corrain was outed by Zirin J. Zhao, another fantasy author, showing just how many authors on Goodreads she'd one-star bombed and showing the proof that she was behind it. And it was noticeable how many of those authors were people of colour. And likewise, Lauren M. Davis also targeted a black author. Race is a common denominator in these cases. White authors trying to undermine authors from other ethnic backgrounds. And I encourage you to seek out and give those authors your support, including Marv Michael Anson, Molly Chang, Kerry Mariscala, and Alexandra Christo. But there have been plenty of videos going into the details of what exactly happened here if you want to search them out, and far more informed people about the dynamics of race in the publishing industry who talk about that topic. What I want to talk about is, even if their plan had worked, even if they'd successfully dragged these other authors down, what they would have ended up doing is harming their own work and careers. Even if no one had found out, even if this hadn't turned into an online drama, even if Cait Corrain had kept her book publishing deal. And the reason for that is, in the publishing industry and the wider media industry, other authors are not your competitors. And the reason of that is simple and also incredibly easy to spot. When people find a new form of media that they enjoy, one of the first things they end up doing is finding other media like it. When Twilight came out and the Twilight phenomena swept the world, it didn't result in other vampire writers and paranormal romance writers suddenly getting edged out by that competition. What it resulted in was a huge boom of exactly that content, as the people who enjoyed Twilight hunted down more things like it for them to enjoy. Cait Corrain, by targeting other authors in her niche, was undermining the chance that people might enjoy those authors and therefore come and read her work by association. Even more so because they were published by the same publishing house. There are audiences who notice the publishing houses who produce the work they like and are more likely to trust them to continue producing work that they like. This is even more brazen with Lauren M. Davis, who is literally accusing another author of stealing her ideas, however ludicrous those accusations were, when actually, if someone did read a book about a protagonist who had powers over the sun and was genuinely fascinated by that story, there's a much better chance they'd read another book about someone with powers over the sun than if they'd never come across either of those books in the first place. When someone reads or watches Star Wars and Dune and they enjoy it, what they want is more people-driven science fiction stories. When people watched Lord of the Rings for the first time, many of them kicked off their love of the fantasy genre from that point and read hundreds of fantasy books from then on. This is even more important in writing than in other mediums, because often people read on their own. It's not a hugely collaborative experience. But if they do pick up a habit, if they do start habitually reading books, they can read hundreds of them. And if another author manages to crack that, manages to get someone to develop a reading habit, they are significantly more likely to pick up a book you have written than if they never started reading at all. The phrase, "a rising tide lifts all ships," is often overused, but it is never more true than in publishing and writing. This is why you often come across clumps of writers all publishing in the same niches, who all know each other really well and are friendly. Many of them often collaborate and use their platforms to boost one another's books. And this is, in part, just because it's a really friendly community, but it isn't just that. It also helps themselves. It is in the best interests of every author to boost their niche of the industry, to boost their genre, and to boost the number of people who pick up reading as a habit in general. Because without people with reading habits, without fans of their genre, without similar books that people might be inspired by to pick up theirs, there is no one to read their work. The acts of Cait Corrain and Lauren M. Davis were spiteful, insecure, and harmful to other authors, but they were also harmful to themselves. This was a no-win situation. No one was coming out of this better, no matter how it turned out. The whole charade was all just a bit tragic. But at least I hope some good has come of it, in that some people will have followed all of this chatter and picked up some books that they may not have heard of otherwise. And they might just be picking up a habit that will lead them to read so much more.